day on the set.
Oh.
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 Oh yes, first days. Well,
How did we all feel on the
first
first
day? The first day. Well, of course, we were in Aston Studios, and when it rained at Aston Studios, the water used to come through the ceiling, and we used to have this bucket on the floor to catch the water. It was hysterical because nobody knew really what was going on.
But you only thought you were going to have 6 weeks, didn't you?
Yeah, we had 2 weeks rehearsal for the first lot, and then we used to do Tuesday afternoon. We had Tuesday morning off. Supposed to get our hair done or something.
Yes.
Tuesday afternoon, then we did Wednesday morning, finish at
morning off,
2:45. Then we'd start again at 2:45, and the next one in for 7:30. And we were, by the end of the first week, we were because there was only 8 of us, in the first. There was only 8 of us, and we did 5 episodes a week with no editing.
Oh my goodness.
So that must have been by the end of the
yes, that must have been terrifying.
But when Paul first came in, as
bit.
I remember, you had to do your OB filming first. You're outside broadcasting
I've
first.
never met anybody. I didn't know what to wear, so I took some old gear with me, and that's where the woolly hat came from.
Yes, that's brilliant. I mean, when you think of that
I did
character,
filming for the first 3 months in one day.
The first 3 months?
Yes, because he only used to do the odd bit of filming.
Well, we never did filming for the first
So I did all this filming, so what I did on that one day, I had to carry on doing for the next 12 years.
Yeah.
As I said, for 6 months. Because I never got holiday pay. I keep saying that. Do you think I'm money orientated?
No.
How much are we getting for this?
Now, when you first came in,
Yes.
you didn't come in as Adam, did you?
No, I came in as Mr. Perkins, and I sold Kitty her house. That was in 1968, and it was such an enormous success that they invited me straight away in 1978 to come back and be Adam.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you were terrified.
Oh, do you remember?
He wanted to throw himself under a bus, he said.
Yes. You look. Everybody was very kind. Everybody was very kind and welcoming.
was-
I must
always.
say it was very frightening.
Yes, you were a bit scared.
I was scared because I mean, as I said, I was sort of brought up with the luxury of film, and so therefore, you just did something wrong, and you just went straight back to the beginning.
Do
of
it
the
again.
start, edit it out. But I really did feel the pressure.
Yes.
That and I really was desperately frightened.
Yeah.
Even though I'd done a comedy, a television comedy, live. I mean, in front of a live audience.
Well, at least you
but
got a
it's
bit more rehearsal.
extraordinary. But it was an extraordinary. Yes, much more rehearsal.
But we didn't want to let anybody down, did we? That
we
was the
had
thing.
Monday
No,
to
no.
rehearse.
Well, I can remember people used to come
No,
in
we would tell
on
where
a
to go on Monday.
Absolutely sort of white, holding their scripts like this. Going, oh my God. And we'd say, oh, don't worry, don't bother with that scene yet. We don't do that till Friday. Learn the one you're going to do on Thursday first.
Yes, you have to get rid of the first one because
That's
you
fine.
go into the second
Yeah.
one. Because it was very much of a muchness and like the last scene you played.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're
You
also
know, you lost the plot,
Yeah.
Yes.
so you had to get rid of the
And all in the same set.
the 4 sets.
All the same,
Yes,
same
the 4
moves.
episodes.
I could do the moves, so through the door. Do I go to the desk first, or do I go to it last? Do I pick the phone up this way, or do I pick it up in this hand? I mean, do you remember? I can remember once I did 16 office scenes spanning 5 episodes in different clothes. And we didn't start doing them until 5:20. We had to finish at 7:30 for some reason or other. And at 7:25, we were doing the last one, and I never got changed. I just had changed my top and said, "Don't shoot below the waist." And I said, "I'm coming through the door. I'm going to sit there, and I'll do it there." And they said, "We think we might need a bit more." I said, "Just keep doing that, and I'll stop." And I just talked on the phone, and the cameraman he knew what to do.
That's why you speak speedily now, Jane.
What?
Yes,
That's why you speak speedily now.
Speedily, I have to get it in. Yes.
Obviously, when Meg went, it meant Jill came much more to the forefront and was actually running the place or trying to do that. And in many ways, that was quite good for me because I did get some lovely comedy scenes.
Why didn't you say something earlier when Barbara and Carol were here? I understood you were actually prepared to help.
Well, I was just so astonished, and I just thought, well, anything for a quiet life, and I thought, how stupid. Then I started to brood about it, and then I just got madder and madder.
All right, don't labour the point. You've made it. I accept it. I'm sorry. Good night.
It was fabulous working with Ronnie as my real-life husband and my television husband because it was just, we were very channeled and very focused.
Oh, delicious.
Horseradish. The secret ingredient.
Might have another. It'll spoil my appetite. May I help?
No, you just go and get ready. We'll see to all this, won't we? Yes.
Right little bossy boots, isn't she?
Were we any good, do you think?
What?
Chat office stuff.
Oh, the office. It
I
went
never
on.
understood it.
The corridors of power. They went on for hours. Did the public like it? I don't know.
I think the public did. I used to get lots of letters saying, "Oh, I'm so worried you're going to lose the motel or whatever," and I really didn't know whether I got it or not. All I was doing was just learning the lines.
I was completely lost with it. I mean, do you remember that one when the
I do remember that.
Which one?
something about
There was something
the motion?
about you
It
had
was-
to speak to your motion.
You have to speak to your motion.
And Ronnie had to say this, and he said, "Has somebody checked this out? Because are you absolutely convinced that this is what you said?"
Speak to your motion.
Message
Hello,
came back.
little motion.
Hello,
Yes,
little
the
motion.
writer says this is quite right. So say it. Well, by then, of course, we were in hysterics.
It was very difficult.
And
Very
Ronnie's
difficult to be serious.
Upstage
you see.
eye was going like this. It was very naughty. I got very giggly on those.
Yes,
and I never really understood.
I never
under-
really understood.
And I remember
And
when I...
did you do something funny with your shares?
Yes,
yes.
yes, I came in. I saved the motel originally as an accountant, as Hugh Mortimer had got it all into absolute wreck and ruin. And I bought 51%, and that cash enabled Meg. And I remember she said to me, "You seem to have got to know my husband, Mr. Chance, exceedingly well." And I said, "Well, Mrs. Mortimer, there isn't an awful lot to do up Alligator Creek late at night." Well, the camera guys were literally provided with bits of wood to stick in their mouths because everybody was hysterical. But I got 51% of the shares. This motel is going to survive. The important thing is that in a year's time, we can sell this stock at a profit, a good profit. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I only had, you remember, 4. I had 4 shares. I didn't own 51%. I was the root. I mean, but you couldn't argue. You went, go
should
go
have
ahead
gone to
and
jail,
do
you know,
it.
in real life. I mean,
But
you
I
probably
thought it
Yeah.
had
did
something to do
defrauding
with the
the
voting.
motel.
I thought it was something you swung the vote.
I swung
I
the-
seem to remember at one point you did swing the vote. and I
Adam
can't
swung a
remember
lot
how.
of things. Adam swung an awful lot of things. But no, I think as management we must have been. We didn't know what
Well, when
we
you
were
think
about.
of what I tolerated when I was, all those goings on in the restaurant, all those goings on I'd have sacked a lot of them. Wouldn't
Yes.
I? I said, "Fuck, that won't do. Out. I'll have none of this."
At the end of the day, we had to say what was put in front of us.
Yes, because Ronnie never understood. David Hunter character never understood what. I mean, in real life, he never understood what was going on in way of business.